After the costly terrible landings, thought was given to the necessity of removing fortifications in the water and on the beaches. During the first few hours of the battle, many of the landing crafts were hit in the submerged coral reefs and became stranded in a crossfire from Japanese fortifications. The beach was naturally ringed with shallow reefs, which were covered with barbed wire and mines. During World War II, there were 32 individual Naval Underwater Demolition Teams, or UDTs, with around 3,000 men total. Many were volunteers from the Navy Scouts and Marine Raiders. There was an emphasis on developing strong swimmers for daylight reconnaissance and training without lifelines. The uniform of the day changed to diving masks, swim trunks, fins, and a K-bar, creating the image of the UDTs as the naked warriors. Although the main mission of UDTs was clearing obstacles with explosives, they had an important secondary mission of scouting enemy positions close to shore. UDTs were typically transported to the objective on destroyer transports, each of which could carry 2 teams. The Frogmen were then transferred to their rubber boats for the final approach to the beach. The principal equipment of the UDTs was 20-pound rubber tubes of tetryl explosives that could be easily emplaced around obstacles for demolition. By 1942, a year into the U.S. involvements in the war, the Hamilton Watch Company had ceased production of civilian watches and focused solely on timepieces for America's armed forces. Hamilton's reputation for accuracy had placed them as the best to produce the most technologically advanced and sensitive equipment for the war. Bomb timers for the Air Force, wristwatches for the services, and chronometers from the Navy were all made in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. The Hamilton USN BU ship's canteen watches were issued to the UDT teams. Canteen watches are unusual in how they protect themselves from water, with a thin metal rim fitted on the crystal, which is soldered to the case and attached to the canteen. The watch was one of the few essential items the Frogmen carried on their missions. These watches used a 987S hackable movement with 17 jewels, which dates between 1944 and 1945. There was another version with the second set to 6 position, with the 987A movement. The USN 2987 varied is characterized by its black dial. The watch had cathedral-style hands with polished steel around the loom. The original second's hand was white with a luminous orange strip on the end, which in all the examples I've seen has now faded. All necessities for divers operating in low light, and timekeeping was crucial for the detonation of explosives, as the men had to have enough time to swim back to their pickup point. Hamilton's timekeepers proved to be a rugged and most reliable instrument under some of the most severe circumstances, and they survived to ill effect some of the greatest engagements known to man. The watches that saw combat on all fronts, that were developed in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, were a true testament of American know-how. And for the Navy Frogmen, they would become the unsung heroes of the Second World War, and were pioneers of their craft and the selfless operations conducted in the shadows. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I thank you all for your continued support. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.